deep in the cold and misty lands of Scandinavia, where the wind howls through the pine forests and the northern lights dance in the sky, there lies a mystery carved in stone. These are the Runestones, the ancient talking stones of the Viking age. They stand silent and tall, covered in strange symbols, whispering secrets of a time long forgotten. This is the story of the Runestones, the voices of the past that still speak to us today. Long ago, the people of Scandinavia lived in a world of gods and giants, of heroes and monsters. They believed in magic, in fate, and in the power of words. To them, words were not just sounds, they were spells, blessings, and curses. And so, when they wanted to remember their dead, to mark their victories, or to call upon the gods, they carved their words into stone. These carvings were called runes, and the stones that bore them became known as runestones. The runestones were more than just grave markers. They were messages to the living and the dead, to gods and to men. Some told of great battles, of kings and warriors who fought bravely and died with honor. Others spoke of love and loss, of families who mourned their loved ones. Some were even spells meant to protect or to curse. The Vikings believed that by carving these words into stone, they could make them last forever, even after they themselves were gone. One of the most famous runestones is the Runic stone in Sweden. Covered in strange and twisting runes, it tells a story of heroes, of battles, and of the end of the world. Some say it is a memorial for a dead son. Others believe it is a riddle, a puzzle meant to test the wisdom of those who read it. Even today, scholars argue over its meaning. But one thing is certain, the man who carved it wanted his words to echo through time. Not all runestones speak of war and doom. Some are simple and sad, like the stone raised by a woman named Tófa. She carved it for her husband who died far from home. He was the best of men, the runes say. It is a small stone, but its words carry the weight of a broken heart. Others are mysterious, like the runestones that mention journeys to distant lands. Some tell of men who traveled to the east, to the lands of the Rus, where they became rich and powerful. Others speak of voyages to the west, to England, and even beyond, to a place they called Vinland, the land of wine, which we now know as North America. These stones are proof that the Vikings were great explorers, sailing further than anyone had before. But who carved these stones? The runemasters, the men and women who knew the secrets of the runes. They were not just carvers, they were poets, magicians, and scholars. To write in runes was to speak with the gods. Odin, the All-Father, had paid a terrible price to learn the runes. He hung himself from the world tree, Yggdrasil, for 9 days and nights, pierced by his own spear, until at last the runes revealed themselves to him. Because of this, the runes were sacred, a gift from the gods themselves. The runestones were raised in open places, where all could see them. Some stood near burial mounds, guarding the dead. Others were placed by roads, so travelers could read their word. A few were even set into the walls of churches, their pagan symbols hidden in plain sight. But as time passed, the old gods faded. Christianity came to Scandinavia, and with it, a new way of writing. The runestones were forgotten, left to weather and crumble. Some were buried under moss and earth. Others were broken apart and used to build houses or churches. Their voices grew silent. Centuries later, people began to dig them up again. Scholars puzzled over the strange carvings, trying to understand the forgotten language. Farmers plowing their fields would uncover a stone, its runes still sharp and clear. Little by little, the stones began to speak again. Today, we can still hear their voices. Museums protect them, books translate them, and travelers come from far away to see them. They tell us of a time when the world was full of magic, when men believed their words could shape fate. They remind us of the people who carved them, people who laughed, loved, fought, and died just as we do. The runestones are more than just rocks with old carvings. They are the echoes of a lost world, a world of heroes and gods, of voyages and battles. They are the talking stones of Scandinavia, and if you listen closely, you can still hear their stories. So the next time you see a runestone, remember, it is not just a piece of history. It is a voice from the past, speaking across the centuries, waiting to be heard. And perhaps, in its strange and ancient symbols, you will find a story meant just for you.